Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with the in-depth analysis for the Borderlands 3 official announcement gameplay trailer. The day has finally come and I feel so good to know Borderlands 3 is out there and it looks amazing. I'm gonna cut right to the chase because we have a lot to go through in this video, so get comfortable, get a snack, and here we go, starting off with screenshot number 1. We are outside what is presumably the home of the children of the vault. As we've referred to in previous reports and leaks, these are Tyreen and Troy Calypso. We can actually see on the sign here, it says meet the Calypsos, answer the Calypso's call, and it says give your flesh, take your guns, there's a free brainwashing. So this is exactly how the Calypsos are building their army. We can tell that right off this first screenshot, and we'll be seeing this area quite a bit throughout the entire trailer. And maybe you want a better look at your antagonists for Borderlands 3. Here they are. They look a lot more evil than, say, Handsome Jack. I like this. They're more brooding, they're more daunting, and they look like they have a purpose in mind as they approach the screen. So we can actually see Troy on the left, and he's got a robotic arm, and he's going to be known for those red face tattoos, and it's also going to be on the only remaining arm he has. Furthermore, we can clearly see that Tyreen is a siren based off the tattoos on our right, her left arm, and she actually has a very interesting ability, which is the power to sap siren abilities, which we will see later on in the trailer, and it serves a very important plot point. But these, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be the folks you're battling throughout your adventures in Borderlands 3. Here's where the in-depth analysis is going to become a bit different from what you are all used to from me. Normally we go in order, frame by frame, and we break it all down, but the way this trailer was created is that certain images in the beginning gain context later in the trailer. So what we're going to do is look at them early on, bring those images in from later in the trailer to now, so that we can combine it all to get a better image of everything that's happening in the trailer as we go along with it. So some things may feel a bit out of order, but just know it's all intentional. So for starters, we see this new bandit looking camp here that's almost set up like a carnival. However, later in the trailer, we actually see it during the daytime. And this part will actually help you guys connect the area in your head a bit more. Interestingly enough, we have what looks to be like a female Goliath almost. But anyway, in the background is a skull with spikes coming out of it that seems to enter some type of big arena. We actually get a closer look at this later on in the trailer where we see Flak the Beastmaster fighting off a bunch of enemies, and we can see a no ticket type of entry screen on the top left outside of what we imagine is a coliseum based off all the screens that are laid about this entire camp, plus the demand for a ticket to get inside. And if that's the case, then later on in the trailer you can also see the interior of said coliseum where we see all the vault hunters battling off what seems to be a boss-like creature that shoots out buzzsaws. At one point in the trailer, its right eye starts to charge up some type of electric based blast. So this is one entire interconnected area. I'm a sucker for carnivals ever since Nier Automata, so I like this type of theme in games, and it seems like there's going to be some type of coliseum we can compete in for Borderlands 3, which is pretty hype. Next up, we have our 4 Vault Hunters. We're going to be getting into more details on their abilities later in the trailer analysis, but just for those who need to know their names, we have Amara, the Siren, Flak, the Beastmaster, Mose, the Bot Jock, and Zane, the Operative. After that, I have a trailer spanning deep dive for you in this next screenshot where we're taking a look at Rupture Upon Us. Holy is the mouth that bleeds live. Witness mayhem. It seems like mayhem is a key word for Borderlands 3. If you don't recall, yesterday in the teaser trailer for Borderlands 3, we got mayhem is coming. So that seems to be the key thing with the Calypso twins, I believe. In fact, it seems like Holy is working for the Calypso twins in general. Later on in the trailer, we see the Holy Broadcast Center, and clearly they are allied with the Calypso twins, given that the advertisements for answering their call are right outside the Broadcast Center. My bit of speculation when you look at this, the brainwashing advertisement we saw right in the beginning, is that this Holy Broadcast Center is sending out messages to all of these different planets, not just Pandora, because we also see a broadcast center on a more swampy-like region, and we do know Borderlands 3 spans various planets. In fact, the trailer itself says save the worlds, not just world, but worlds. So we're going to different places, and it seems that the Holy Broadcast Center has established itself everywhere so that it can pull in more and more resources for the Calypso twins to disperse and attack our Vault Hunters. Now, some of you may be ready for some Vault Hunter details, and I've got you covered. Let's get started with Amara. Some of you may look at this photo and go, Gearbox, What are you doing, man? Why just Amara with a revolver? Well, first of all, it's going to be pretty cool if we see revolvers come back as a weapon class of their own with various different types of said revolvers. But anyway, don't worry. Amara is strong as heck. She's so strong, she's got a ton of arms to smash your skull in. And we'll actually see more abilities as we go along this trailer. So don't worry. As you can see, she resembles Kali, who is one of the goddesses that some of you out there may be familiar with. Next in the screenshot is Flak the Beastmaster. Now, Flak is able to control 3 different beasts. As we can see here, we have the Skag, a spider ant, and what I believe is a brand new creature. I scoured the entirety of the Borderlands creature wiki page all across each and every Borderlands game. I could not find anyone that resembled this, so I believe this is a brand new creature. Next is Zane the Operative, who's designed to be our assassin class. He's very much like Zero in the sense that he can create a decoy to draw aggro for enemies, and we can see in this screenshot here exactly how he does it. He presses a button on what seems to be some type of switch, and boom, there is the decoy. Last but certainly not least is Moze the bot jock, who plays a lot like a Titanfall. She calls in this giant iron bear. It comes down from the sky. She can hop in it, do a ton of damage, and also we'll see a cool co-op mechanic that ties into her bot jock, which, oh man, you guys are gonna love it if you're gonna be playing with friends. Then it seems like we're on our way to presumably Ellie, as this screenshot opens up and we can see Claptrap next to a station where you could change all of your skins and your heads, but the sign on the left says oil, lane pipe, full service, fill them up, all stuff that indicates cars minus some innuendos involved. Later on in the trailer, we actually see a location called Ellie's Scrap, and we do know Ellie is in the game not only thanks to the Mask of Mayhem teaser trailer, but she's there at the end with a new arm that seems to be some type of tool. This location in particular is super interesting if the backstory on it that we've researched together on stream is actually true. So pretty much we can see that based off the presentation, if you lend some of your imagination to it, based off the slated roofs, the way the bridge is styled kind of reminds me in a sense of the Great Wall of China. You can see that the trees are more of a red, almost like a cherry blossom. It feels almost oriental in nature. And later on in the trailer, we actually see Maya fist bumping a younger woman outside of this very location. So my speculation personally is that this is Athenas. This is actually the location where Maya had grown up. Here's the backstory from Borderlands Wiki. As an infant, Maya was identified as a siren and given to the Order of the Impending Storm, the ruling order of monks on her homeworld of Athenas. She trained her siren powers in secret until she reached adulthood, when the monks revealed her to the public as their goddess and savior. Irritated by the Order's short leash, she longed for adventure and expressed interest in traveling to Pandora to learn more about her siren lineage. She eventually realized that the Order was using her as a threat to extort money and obedience from the people of Athenas. After phase locking and executing her handler, Brother Sophis, she headed to Pandora to finally satisfy her curiosity about sirens. Now, based off the hoods on both Maya as well as what seems to be maybe a younger sister, a friend, a cousin, and possibly a siren in training, considering that her sleeves are covering her arms, which would then hide the siren tattoos, we can maybe assume that Maya has returned to Athenas and that we will be adventuring there at some point in this game, which I hope is true. I absolutely love, once again, the oriental style of this location. It's very appealing to a weeb like myself. Tanis will be a very major character in Borderlands 3. That's no secret, thanks to the teaser that was put inside of Battleborn telling us that Tanis is not what she seems to be. Anyway, we can see all 4 of the Vault Hunters will be playing as, joined together with Tanis, inspecting what seems to be a vault key activating, and I imagine if Borderlands 2 told us anything, it's that this vault key will show us a map of all the other planets. Based off just the general background, I'm going to wager a guess that they're on Pandora. They discover this vault key, they take it to Tanis, they inspect it, they activate it, and they learn of all these other vaults on other planets, and that's when you start venturing off of Pandora. This is the co-op skill I was telling you guys you'd be pretty hype about if you were playing with a friend. So the rumor was that when you call on the bot jock as Moze, that it'll come down and your friend can mount it. And as we can see, Zane is on the back mounting a turret, and then Moze is controlling it on the inside. So there's a bit of a cooperative element there, encouraging some team play, which I think is really exciting. And also, just a little tidbit, it's not unexpected, but we can see Amara clearly using an acidic / caustic weapon. Now, it is possible this is the entrance to the Coliseum that I was discussing earlier. It's certainly intimidating enough to be a Coliseum entrance given the flames coming out of the tubes and also a giant skull at the entrance, but regardless of that, we do know it's under control of the Children of the Vault. There is a graffiti stamp on the right side that says CoOp, and you'll notice that quite a bit throughout the trailer, which can help us identify where the Children of the Vault are positioned, how much control they really have over all these planets, and where they don't have as much control. How about to switch it up, we go into some vehicles. I know for a lot of us, it's about the guns, right? And the vehicles, at least for me, serve as just getting from point A to point B. I don't stay in them for any longer than I really have to. But anyway, what we see here seems to be sort of a mixture of a bandit technical as well as a monster. I think it's a modified version personally of the bandit technical. The main difference here is we actually see that there are spikes on the wheels, and throughout the trailer you'll actually see that there are different mods on the same type of vehicle. For example, there will be one vehicle that actually has blades on the rims but no spikes on the tires, but it still looks like the bandit technical, where it has the barrel launcher, it has the turret on the front, and it seems similar in shape and size. We also can see on the left side, this is sort of the psycho carrier is what I like to call it. It has psychos in the back, it has a barrel launcher on it. It's designed just to harass us when we're out in the waste trying to travel from point A to point B in these vehicles. Overall, vehicles actually have received quite a bit of a buff, it seems, in Borderlands, because we can also see there's a monocycle that's shooting a harpoon, which is absolutely nuts and is going to be the go-to provided that the health count for it isn't that low. We can see a vehicle that's sort of floating around, similar to that of what we've seen in Borderlands the pre-sequel. So yes, it looks like there's going to be more variety when it comes to the vehicles, and I do hope there's actual customization outside of just the skins. Like if I could choose between tire types, some have speculated in the Twitch chat that maybe the tire types change based off rock climbing, for example, or something like that. But still, I'd love to be able to augment the turret, the battle launcher, just a little more change to that part of the game to encourage me to get in them more outside of just traveling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, first of all, thank you for sticking with me. But number two is that you're about to see the most important part of the trailer, I personally believe, broken down before your eyes. So let's get into it. We see Tyreen Calypso, who is rumored to have the ability to siphon powers from sirens. And based off the orb in her hand, and we can see the aura going inward, she has just absorbed someone's power. A bit later in the trailer, we see Lilith on the ground crawling towards the vault key with no tattoo on her arm. Now, as we know in the Borderlands lore, only females can be sirens. So now you see a way possibly for Tyreen to make Troy a siren. Presumably what happened here is Tyreen has absorbed Lilith's powers, and we see Troy and Tyreen clasping forearms here, and he is getting Lilith's powers. I think that is going to be ridiculous. Maybe I'm overreacting a bit because I think Lilith is the shit. She is my favorite character in the series, so I'm really hoping she doesn't go down like this. But yeah, man, this is a pretty major plot reveal for the entire game. In fact, I remember some of my chat being like, oh my god, this is like a major moment in the story that they're just showing off in the trailer. But I think it's because it's such a bang, bang, bang trailer, they expect you to miss it. So here we are breaking it down, and I think that's exactly what's going down, and that now we're going to see possibly our first male siren in the Borderlands universe. But while one siren may be going down, it seems another one, a much more powerful one, is rising. So we can see Amara with her many arms going in for one of her action abilities, which is a ground pound. The rumor is that all these characters are going to have multiple action skills, not one. And now we'll see Amara doing a ground pound. Later on, we're going to see her doing a phase lock. And also, we see her with a brand new weapon with multiple power cells on the top. Now, there is also the rumor, and I don't mean to run this all off of rumors, but since a lot of them have been confirmed based off the trailer, there is a nuclear weapon type coming in. And some have asked, is this it, Maddie? And I personally don't think so. I think at the end of the trailer, we catch what is a nuclear weapon, considering it looks like a damn missile. This seems to be a new type of weapon, but it also looks incredibly powerful. It's a minigun in a sense, but it's powered by those cells. But we also have an enemy type that has a flamethrower. We do know that Randy Pitchford and Elon Musk did talk on Twitter about adding their flamethrowers into the game, so possibly this is what we're seeing here, and it will turn into an enemy type. And lastly is our first look at female psychos. Yes, that's actually never been a thing in Borderlands, but now we officially have female psychos, so that is great news for all of us. This may seem to you like a normal screenshot. Moses charging at the camera, shooting, action aplenty. We see the psycho leaping in the background. what do you have to analyze about this, Maddie? How about that giant weapon of mass destruction on her back? What is that thing? Well, let's dig into it. So we can see a scope attached to it, and considering the length of the weapon, I'd safely assume it's a sniper rifle. But there might be a change to it, because underneath the barrel of the sniper rifle, we see what looks to be almost a missile launcher. Now, this is just my own speculation. We're going a little wild here, but I feel like maybe there could be an underbarrel attachment for these weapons. So there's almost an alternate fire for certain guns, because this clearly is a sniper given the barrel, the length of the weapon, and the scope. However, that doesn't look like, for example, a laser sight attached to the bottom of the gun. No, that looks like something that you can shoot off of it as well. Perhaps it's just a new weapon type, but still, it's something I wanted to dig into based off the model of the weapon itself. This city, this city got a rise out of the crowd during the PAX East panel from Gearbox. What is this city? What's happening here? Well, we can see caution on the left. We can see exclamation points on the buildings. Clearly it's under attack, or there's a warning going on. This city is on alert for either you entering or someone else entering. But anyway, where is this place located? I personally believe it's connected to Maliwan, and let's get into all the Maliwan stuff in this trailer. So for starters, let's head over to the Borderlands wiki one more time. Maliwan is a weapons manufacturer on Pandora. Their weapons and shields always use some form of elemental technology, but due to this fact, they tend to lack in other areas. Base firepower in particular seems to suffer. Maliwan weapons are distinguished by their unique light blue paint scheme. Once again, keep in mind the unique light blue paint scheme, which we can kind of see that color palette is used here in this location. Now, maybe you may think I'm going out on a limb saying that, but Maliwan is most certainly in this game, and they have a strong presence. In fact, I think they're making a very big push. We can actually see Maliwan has their own army. There are Maliwan logos across all of these enemies here, and they are located in that very same city based off the backdrop in this image. Furthermore, they're going to be visiting us in what I believe is other locations, and we have a cryo-based Maliwan enemy. You look at his knee, you can see the Maliwan logo there. Also, I like the idea that Cryo is returning. I thought that was a fantastic addition from the pre-sequel. It was so satisfying to freeze people in air and watch them crash and break to bits, or if they didn't break to bits, you could butt bomb them and destroy them. So I am happy to see Cryo return in Borderlands, but more importantly, that is more Maliwan connections. And there's one more that I think will send a lot of Borderlands fans all over the place. I'm going to assume that Reese and Zero here are in this location, considering the background through the windows. Now, Reese is back. He heads up Atlas, and it seems like Zero and the Crimson Raiders are working for him. So there are a lot of connections going on here, man. I mean, all the Borderlands games are combined in here. We got characters coming from everywhere. We got returning characters. This is insane. But anyway, Maliwan seems to play a big part in Borderlands 3. Now we have this Swampy Planet, which I've seen a lot of speculation circling the internet about on what it could possibly be. I've seen a lot of people suggesting maybe this is the location from Sir Hammerlock's DLC in Borderlands 2. I personally think that the planet we're seeing from Borderlands 3 has more of a olive color palette. It looks a lot more, as I said earlier, swampy, and thus I think that rules that option out. In fact, the best thing I have to offer you here in the terms of what this planet could be is a guess, and I do apologize for that. I scoured every single planet across the internet when it came to Borderlands, and what I really narrowed down based off general knowledge of my own based off Greek mythology is that this could be Artemis, which is Mordecai's home planet. Now, I could be entirely off on this, so do not run away with this guess and turn it into something, but just based off not only the swampy nature, but lots of vines, it ties a lot to what Artemis is as a Greek goddess who was a hunter. And I just thought to myself that this planet in tone, in style, reminded me of something I've seen in other artistic representations of Artemis. So it wouldn't take me too off guard if it was this, but like I said, this is one that I'm kind of blindly guessing on based off some research. What we can be a lot more accurate about is this location that we have our Vault Hunters entering right now, where we see them entering seemingly a church based off the chandeliers hanging from the top, a bunch of benches lined up, and also the podium in the front. And based off the order of this trailer and how things happen, it seems like they're heading into this next room here, which could be either A, a big power source, or B, a transmitter. And I think it's actually option B. Allow me to explain. So we know that the Holy Broadcast Center is teamed up with the Calypso twins, right? I'd imagine holy, religious overtones, those two go hand in hand. So I'd safely assume that something important to them would be in the middle of a church, right? So let's say that this transmitter that's sending out all of these messages to people throughout all these various planets to come join the Calypsos and they get brainwashed, wouldn't it make sense to put that in the heart of a church? This part's just a cool little tidbit. We actually see a skull that has fire coming out of it, and based off the shape of the skull, I think it actually represents a creature a couple of seconds later in the trailer, which actually charges into one of the camps in this swampy area, and we can see that it also breathes fire just like that skull that was hanging off the front of the cave. Just a cool little observation. Also, there is a brand new enemy type that is identified by color coordination. That happens quite often in the Borderlands universe, and yellow means explosive, which when this creature leaps in, the ground blows up. So enjoy fighting this baddie. How about some high society? We see Sir Hammerlock, Aurelia, who was the Baroness class in Borderlands the pre-sequel. It was a downloadable piece of content, and also a brand new face. This man over here on the right, we are not quite familiar with, although we can wager a guess, considering there are two Hammerlocks here, that he is connected to the family in some way, perhaps a cousin, perhaps a brother of Aurelia. It is quite interesting to imagine how this family is going to expand, and I mean, man, these guys look like they're about to drop the hottest album of 2019. What are they doing, man? They look menacing. For those of you who maybe missed the Borderlands teaser trailer yesterday or didn't hear Randy Pitchford confirm on stage that Mad Moxxi would be in Borderlands 3, this is for you. As we can see on the right side, that is absolutely Moxxi, and she is joined by Marcus Munitions and Tanis once more. Now, instead of focusing on the characters, I want to talk about something with this game in general. I've noticed there's a lot more cutscenes. Now, 2 had a couple, and then the pre-sequel had a really strong one in the beginning and end, and I think that style of storytelling is actually going to carry over into Borderlands 3, and I think that'll be a really good change of pace for us. I personally can't wait for more directed storytelling, because we do know that the Echo often delivered that moment-to-moment storytelling, but it's good to know that this game is seemingly focusing on also giving us bits of story through cutscene. A rapid gun analysis to wrap it all up? Sure, let's do it. They threw so much at us in this trailer if you broke it down. That's why I took forever to get out and why this trailer analysis is so dang long. So let's take a look at all the new stuff I was able to pick out. First is a magma cannon. Yep, I'm using that for the rest of the game. Perfect. Next, a standard shotgun, but more importantly for those who were wondering what's remaining, what's the mainstays, we still have our ammo and our health machines. But if you notice, there are claptraps on them. There's no longer the Marcus Munitions and Dr. Zed. So that's a strange change that I personally didn't expect, especially because we know Marcus is in the game based off the screenshots earlier. But maybe that's because Marcus is established on Pandora, for example, but not on these other planets. We'll see. Next, I believe, is a laser weapon, but we also see a Vladov symbol right next to the gun with an ammo counter. And this is in fact an ammo counter because we do see other guns that are not Vladov that have ammo counters on the outside. Maybe it's to declutter the HUD to make guns feel more unique, but still good to see nonetheless. Then we have a wrist cannon. Now the speculation is that this is a part of Zane's kit, that he also has a wrist rocket, and it's hard to tell because the skins between both the people using these wrist rockets are in fact different, but they seem to have the same 2 bumps on the knuckle, but the gun itself is different. So I don't know if this is based off how you go down the skill tree or not, but still, this is a new weapon. Whether it's a part of Zane's kit or not, I am unsure of, but do not be too surprised if you hear it is. Next is a funky alien looking Cryo Beam. Ooh, I think I found another weapon I'm going to stick with for the rest of the game. These ones look awesome, man. More importantly, though, is not just what you're shooting with, but how you move when you shoot. And we can see in this screenshot here, as well as another one, it's confirmed you can slide in Borderlands 2. That is something it desperately needed. As I'm working on my Borderlands 2 2019 review, I realized that it's a lot of standing and shooting. There isn't a lot of verticality and mobility. Actually, unlike the pre-sequel, which I think is the strongest in the gameplay department of the 3 Borderlands titles. So seeing sliding in Borderlands 3 is a huge plus in my book. Now, we were speculating about the power cells on the top of that minigun-esque weapon earlier in the trailer, and I believe this is just a new manufacturer because we see a grenade launcher with the similar power cells on it, and also an assault rifle or an SMG, it's hard to tell from this angle, with those same blue pipes on them. So yes, this seems to be more of a manufacturer than a specific legendary weapon. And last but certainly not least, of all the standout guns, this Vortex green ball style gun that's an acidic glob that will likely disintegrate your enemy is the last one we can show off. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude the in-depth analysis for Borderlands 3 gameplay trailer. I'm sure you can hear the relief in my voice. That is probably the longest in-depth analysis I've ever done. So if you have gotten this far, please, I beg of you, share this video because it took forever to make and edit. And a shout out to my Twitch community who helped me make this as we went along the entire video. They are crucial to making this happen and made a lot of the huge scoops that I mentioned in this video. So a big thank you to all of you who helped out in making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I made it, but also I'm sure there's a thing or two I did miss, so do not crucify me. I understand I missed the wooden vault symbol in the last video. I'm sure there's something I missed or misrepresented in this video. It happens. I overanalyze things, but I think I do a good job at it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I did you justice. And more importantly, I hope you're really excited for Borderlands 3 because I certainly am. Tons of coverage is on the way. So I'll catch all of you next time. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.